It's a new horror film from director Zach Cregger. Weapons. What do I think of this movie? Well, I'm going to give you my unfiltered opinion coming up next. Alright, so I finally did it. I'm not even checking IMDb, Letterboxd, anything on the internet. This is completely my own. Sometimes I look up the cast list on those sites and then I see the aggregate rating so I can see what people are saying about the movies. This time, this is completely my own opinion. I like this method. Let's go. And I went to see Weapons because Zach Cregger wrote and directed it. He directed the movie Barbarian from a few years ago. I think he wrote that too. I actually kind of like that movie. I'm not a big horror movie fan, and those of you who know this channel know I don't really like the sort of gross out horror stuff that much, but I liked what he did in that movie. He appealed to ordinary people. He's got a deeply Hitchcockian sensibility about him in that movie. So does Weapons have that? And the answer is absolutely yes. I really enjoyed my experience with this movie, so much so I'm going to tell you, I give this 4.5 stars. I don't think the movie is this good, but I'm rating my experience with the movie. I haven't had good experience in the movie theaters lately. I actually enjoyed this movie a lot, partly because it's somewhat clever, partly because it reminds me of all those old European folk tales I've read, and the very dark sensibility about them. And the big deal here, this is a very funny movie. I laughed a ton in this thing. So the movie is about 2:17 a.m. one night. 17, I think, third graders just run out of their houses. They have a weird running style, and they just run in somewhere in the middle of the night. No one knows where they are. They've disappeared. However, there is one classmate still left, so the next day the teacher shows up to the classroom. There's one boy left, and the teacher is like, what the heck's going on? So this movie begins with a voiceover, which we're told there's a conspiracy theory, and here you're going to hear a true story. This has been covered up. And then the town is mourning the loss of these 17 kids. The events of the movie take place about a month after all these kids have run off in the middle of the night. Now, they've been recorded using all those doorbell cameras and such. People have seen them running off in such weird ways, but where have they gone? Well, the teacher, played very well by Julia Garner, is obviously an object of scorn and criticism. Somebody paints the word witch on her car. She's an alcoholic. She's got a troubled past, so maybe she's done it somehow. What's going on in that classroom, they ask. Josh Brolin's character asked that during a town hall meeting. So things develop from there. Who did it? Where are these kids? But then the movie sometimes goes off the rails in delightful directions. There's a police officer who is the ex-love of this third grade teacher, played by Alden Ehrenreich, who's chasing a heroin addict, and he gets poked by a needle in the heroin addict's pocket, and he wonders if he's gotten AIDS or not. And I must tell you, it's funny. I don't even know how to describe this movie in such a way. It's very funny. It's got 6 or 7 characters, and the movie is broken up. It probably has a typical 3-act structure, but broken up into 6 parts by the character's name. So you get one character story, then we follow another character, we follow another character. Usually the movie goes backwards until it goes forwards again a little bit, and then goes backwards as it switches to a next character. 6 different characters. This movie takes gigantic risks in following each of the 6 characters, hoping that they all hit. And to me, they all do, because in part, they're very well cast. The awesome casting director, Allison Jones, is here. I saw her name in the credits. It's like, oh, that's why this movie has such a good, well-rounded cast that sort of works together. And director Cregger has a lovely sensibility with using boxes and portals, people in boxes, like the little classroom or the creepy house this third grade kid is going to every single day. What's in the house? What's in the basement? He's got an understanding of how to time things. His sense of shock and surprise is almost never a cliche. You can sense when the surprises are coming, then he hits you out of left field with something weird and different that's not the surprise you might have expected. This is a very good thing, in my opinion. And the movie has a very good, this is my opinion again, a good balance of solving the problem of where these kids are at, showing us who done it or where they went or how, but also leaving a lot up to mystery. And so I won't give anything away except to say Amy Madigan shows up in this movie. I was like, who is that? Found her at the end credits. I was like, oh, that's who that is. I've seen her for 40 years, So she does great work in this movie. There is a creepy lady who shows up in people's dreams, and she will be a factor in this movie. But then the solution to this movie reminds me quite a bit, as I said, of European folk tales, particularly like the Brothers Grimm, with children versus big bad, let's say, in-laws, aunts, uncles, that sort of thing, coming into their home and screwing things up, screwing up a whole town because of, well, I won't give anything away. And of course, as I said, the Hitchcockian sensibility about, writer-director Krager, what happened in that classroom? What have caused all those kids to run away? And this basic problem that could happen, not to this extreme, but will a teacher screw up a classroom and warp a bunch of kids? It seems to be a Pied Piper scenario with all these kids running away. Maybe the teacher was the Pied Piper. But then there's a creepy house in this movie, and what's in the house? And very slowly, Krager gets us to look into the house, and then maybe we go in, maybe go in a little bit further and see what's in there, and by the end of the movie, yeah, we're in there pretty deep. This is the same kind of deal he did with the movie Barbarian, where we go into an Airbnb and then what's in that creepy basement. I want to re-emphasize that this movie, it has too many gross out parts for me. I could get rid of some of that gross out stuff. So those of you who have a particular sensibility, you can avoid this movie. It is a horror movie in parts. Not as much as the horror fans might like, but it's got some gross out stuff. But the funny stuff never stops. Even up till the end, there's a great chase sequence at the end of it. I mean, I haven't seen a chase sequence like this in a while. It's very quick. But it's funny, and it's from the point of view of normal people, which is what Krager gets so often doing very well. I say this because I went through Hitchcock's entire filmography this summer, chronologically. And the idea that Hitchcock has is you always look at the audience's basic fear perspective and play to that. Almost this entire movie does that, except there's one violation. There's a character at the end, near the end, and the movie sort of rehashes what goes on in that character's past. I think the audience already knows that, and a lot of that, some of that could have been cut out of the movie. We could have cut out by 5 to 10 minutes. That's the one of the two flaws in this movie. Other than that, I love the cast. Brolin gives, and Warner, they give a solid sensibility in this movie. Aaron Reich, and whoever the actor is who plays the heroin addict, sorry, I did not look up the cast, so it's very funny together. And so I enjoyed this movie in a way that I haven't enjoyed a movie in the movie theater in a long time. So thank you, director Krager, and everybody involved with this movie. I actually like the music in this movie quite a bit, too. What did you think of Weapons? It's not the greatest title, by the way, for this movie, although when you see the ending, you kind of understand. Maybe it's a little funny, the title, but it's kind of a bland title, in my opinion. What did you think of the movie Weapons? Let us know in the comments. Please subscribe to this channel for more great content. Thank you, and have a great day.